Greetings, viewers. I have a confession to make. The original title of this video was Why You Should Read a Light Novel. Unfortunately, not many would be attracted to the idea of books. So let's start from the beginning. What is a manhwa? For this to be understood, we need to go at the beginning. You see, in 2000s, most kids watched Cartoon Network. Shows like Ben 10, Curse the Collie Dog Show, and Johnny Bravo. Other channels like Pogo and Disney XD were also very famous. But there was this one channel whose name you will probably never remember. And that was the Secret Channel. Because it had Naruto, One Piece, and some other very classic shows. Because of this, there was a curiosity about these cartoons that felt more for adults than kids. You see, once you found out to be anime, which is cartoons in Japan, there's a world you will be absorbed into. A parallel dimension of sorts. First, you will start watching Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Then you'll go for the old popular ones like Berserker, Code Geass, and Evangelion. But then you will go for the more obscure ones, animes like Akame ga Kill, No Game No Life, and Tokyo Ghoul. And after consuming all of this, you will turn to their original form. The original form being a manga, comics in Japan. And after that is done, due to repeated plot lines, you will start looking for something more darker. Something that's usually not found a lot in Japan and not related to just surface level bullying. And then something in your brain awakens. You see, it was the weirdness that you had in store. Weirdness that accumulated from shows like Curse the Collie Dog Show, Dexter's Laboratory, Billy and Mandy Adventures, and countless other dark humor shows. What you wanted was something a lot darker, and Japan couldn't offer it. Well, not for the most part. And so you turn to Korea. And that's when you find manhwas. The comics of Korea. Now, what is different about it? You see, as soon as I entered this parallel dimension in Korea, there was a ton of content with mind-blowing art style and plot perspectives. Never ever to be found in the Japan ones. In a manhwa, for example, that's about boxing, a fight is shown extremely well, along with plot. And then there's the fantasy one, in which, the MC is a psychopath, unlike a typical story or Disney hero. This guy is effing crazy, and it has one of the greatest skull designs. It's Warble, for those who are trying to find. Then there are the dungeon clearing ones, with amazing style and a new approach. Like, this is what I love about the Korean ones. They have a new approach. And I'm not saying the Japanese ones are boring, but after some time it does feel tiresome. And so we are actually going to find a manhwa that satisfies both of these things. Art styles which show fights with extreme connectivity, making the user understand the reader understand the scene, and a very effing crazy plotline. And so I introduce you all to Kill the Hero. Just from the name, I believe you can understand what kind of effed up stuff we are going to look at. And spoiler alert, I'll be talking about the story covered in the first 2 to 3 chapters maximum. A total of 40 chapters are out there, so believe me, it is more than enough to satisfy your curiosity. And the light novel has around 200 chapters now. So do not worry, you're not missing out a lot. Now we start in manhwa, where the main protagonist is Kim Woo-jin, who is a sidekick of the hero. The hero's name is Se-jun Lee. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he is the Masiha. Like, that's literally his guild's name and what he's thought of in the whole world. They are at the final boss stage, and suddenly the MC is pierced with the blade. The blades from the main hero, and turns out he's been poisoned, his companions killed, because the main hero has an evil plan to rule the world. But the MC somehow gets a humongous plot armor activated and gets sent back in time. And that's how the story begins. Now there's this one thing which I really liked, which you won't see in the Chinese mangas. And that is that the MC didn't exactly go to the absolute beginning, like when the dungeon started appearing. No. The MC went to when he first interacted with the dungeons and their monsters. In a truck, in military, being transported from one place to another. That's when they encountered a bunch of ogres. And that's where he was sent back to, rather than, 3 years, like as soon as the world was enveloped by chaos. A hero rises and that's our main character. No. You won't find such cheesiness here. The main character is really a trash of the trash in terms of his psychology, because he is merely a reflection of what the world is. He is extremely brutal and never trusts anyone, which is why the betrayal hits him even more, for he decides to never trust anyone anymore. A rule he's not planning to break a second time. But I believe we do have to give our classic intro of Dungeons into the World, and so here it begins. The world as we know it changed. On the fateful day of 1st January 2020, aliens started appearing through portals. These portals were later called dungeons. They popped all around the world, in every city or jungle or area you can imagine, and boom, entered the monsters. Chaos, the likes of which were never seen before, rose. But due to the fateful appearance of Nimbus, which gave authority to some people who were then transformed into players, was the world caught in a very fine balance. The players who were thought of as heroes by the public were actually a bunch of rich, greedy assholes. But one was different. And this one guild that rose to the top, that had players that were one of the first 7 to receive these authorities, that guild was the Messiah Guild. And that, my friends, is how the story begins. The hero has an insane advantage, and our main character is way behind. He doesn't have a clear nickname, even when he was at the peak of his strength. All we know is that he is a crazy hunting dog. And that's all you need to know, because the art style in this one is awesome. I mean, it's one of the few manhwas in which the art style hasn't been tainted, because believe me, if you read this accursed manhwa called the 4,000-year-old mage, or some, I forgot the whole title, but the 4,000-year-old mage. Now that one is shit, because they changed major key points of plots, and a lot of character building was just destroyed for the sake of some silly, dull romanticism. But enough of that. We are here for Kill the Hero, and believe me, it pays back 100-fold. The items look great. The authority is even cooler, like the imaginary of Underworld. Ooh, that's... And I have also seen in games, like, in these dungeon building games, there are times at the beginning when the gods are shown, like, for example, Emissionary of Underworld. Imagine if Hades was seen in the first panel and the first chapter. Where would is there even a mystery to it? And so, is there even a mystery to it? I mean, this is a revenge plotline, kids, and you better understand it. And so the whole story sticks to one point and one point only. The hero needs to grow strong enough to surpass a guild that everyone reveres, that everyone thinks of as a god, and to kill the hero. That's all. On this pun, I end this video, and hope you guys have a great day.